Good afternoon and welcome to Bradenton, Kiwanis. I am your club president, Heather Doyle. We're going to be rolling right into our program. We've have a couple special things for you today. First, I would like to welcome and announce our guests. Please save your applause until the end. We have a couple guests today. Welcome. We look forward to seeing you again. Welcome to Bradenton, Kiwanis. Welcome to our family. Carolyn Griffin is a guest of Bronwyn from the United Way. And Nan Colbert is a guest of ServPro and Sharon Barhorst. Let's please give them a warm Kiwanis welcome. And could you stand so we know who you are? Could you stand? Also, I'd like to make a special announcement. Over the weekend, on Friday we did a lot of prep work for Christmas in August, and on Saturday was our Christmas in August event. I think I share everyone's feelings. It was an amazing event. Everyone worked so hard. It was seamless, or at least if it wasn't, y'all faked it really good because those kids were so happy, the parents were happy, the families were happy. I would like to, at this point in time, acknowledge, thank, and with much gratitude recognize Linda Agresta and Brett Pollock for all of their hard work, and also all committee members. If you helped, first, Linda, could you please stand? We need to recognize you. You did a phenomenal job. Please give a round of applause for Linda Agresta. If you volunteered for Christmas in August, whether it was on Friday or Saturday, would you please rise? We would like to recognize you as well. So our final numbers of how many children we've served are still coming in. I hear that number is large. It's a big number this year, which I'm so excited to hear. But what I also want to let you know about is that we had 286 people volunteer for this event. When you talk about communities helping their own, and communities helping communities, and people helping people, that's what this is all about. Between Friday and Saturday, 286 people volunteered for this event. I just think that's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's what Bradenton Kiwanis is all about. I thank you all for helping Linda and helping Brett, and on the committee, the Christmas in August committee was phenomenal. You guys worked so hard. It wouldn't be Bradenton Kiwanis without helping throughout the year. We do have a Kids Against Hunger event. It's sponsored by the Manatee Sunrise Club. That's August 11th. We do still, Mac, I think we do still need some volunteers. We did send an email out, but if you missed it and you would like to volunteer, August 11th, we have 2 shifts, 8 to 10 a.m., and then also 2 to 4. I was going off memory. 2 to 4. If you can volunteer for either of those, please see Mac afterwards, and he'll help you get right to where you need to go. Finally, I would like to warmly welcome Mr. Charlie Kennedy, who is running for school board. I don't know if y'all know, but we did have a school board candidate forum. Through our fault, not Mr. Kennedy's, we had the wrong contact information for him, so he didn't know about the event, didn't know to come to the event. We are so excited that he is here today. We do have one of our members, past presidents and past supervisor of elections, Mr. Bob Sweat here. and he is going to be essentially what we're hoping to do here today to help all of you be able to make your decisions. We let everybody know about all of the candidates. Mr. Kennedy is here. So what we're going to do is similar, it's actually exact to what we did at the candidate forum. Mr. Sweat is going to be asking the questions and moderating. We'll also have them be timed. And at this time, I would like to welcome Mr. Kennedy to the podium.
We use your notes.
Not use my notes.
Come on up, Charlie. Give me a second here. Heather stole part of the thunder. I was going to tell you about the computer glitch that caused us not to have Charlie here. But nonetheless, whatever the reason, he was left off the list, and we want to give everybody the opportunity that's running for office. And we certainly want to give Charlie the same opportunity that we gave the other candidates when they were here. 2 minutes to introduce himself. We have a timer, 2 minutes on each question, and 1 minute to wrap it up. So let me give you the podium, and let's welcome Charlie Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Sweat. Good afternoon, Kiwanians. It's great to be back. Really quick, and I can just do two birds with one stone here. The mix-up was that Brett had put on the D list on the email charleskennedy@yahoo.com. Just so you all know, it's charliekennedy@yahoo.com. So if you ever need to reach out to me, which some of you have done before, charliekennedy@yahoo is my non-school district email. And as putting my school board jacket on for a second, I do also want to thank you all for Christmas in August. I know it's been a Kiwanian tradition for a long time, and to reach out to our most at-risk students, it's really, for me as a school board member, it's one of the most important events that takes place before the opening of school. So thank you, Bradenton Kiwanis, for that. It's also, real quick, shout out to my Leadership Manatee class. I think there are 5 of us here that I've counted. Heather, Rich, Dawn, Scott over there. Am I forgetting anybody from our Leadership Manatee? I think I got us all. Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. Jeff, one of our guests. So there's 6 of us here. I knew I was going to forget somebody. Sorry, Jeff. So anyway, I'll jump right into it. I have been a school board member since 2014. I was a teacher at Manatee High School before that. The reason I got involved was because I kind of saw some dissension and some we were kind of on the road back to recovery, but it was a little bit of a bumpy recovery, and my students kind of prodded me into going and said, well, hey, look, you're always telling us to stand up and get involved, and you see something wrong, and so that's what kind of brought me to that 2014 election, and somehow I won. So here I am running again, and I am essentially running on a platform of the past 4 years. Not a little bit of a couple of things that I've done, but really kind of the direction of the school district. And I've been a part of that team. None of us are individually responsible, although I would give Dr. Green and our current superintendent, Cindy Saunders, a lot of credit, because I think that's, and their staff is where it goes. The board members, and many of you serve on boards, so you know this. We just kind of give direction, but it's up to the superintendent and her staff to carry out that direction, and carry out her vision and the board's vision. And so they deserve the credit for that. But if you look at the school district over the past, really since the kind of the collapse of 2012, every metric is trending in the right direction. No matter how you feel about school grades and the state's accountability system, even by that metric, which I do believe is flawed, we are improving. But statewide, we're all held to the same standards. School grade is up. The finances are looking way better. I know there's still some naysayers out there who say we're hiding things and there's budget problems, but we have had a citizens audit committee in place. We have been audited by the state. We have internal auditors at formerly Shin & Company that still aren't. So we have many sets of eyeballs on our finances. Our bond rating is now up twice. And I just kind of stand before you and say, I've been part of that team that was part of that turnaround. And so I'm essentially just, for me, between my opponent and I, it's kind of a referendum on, do you think the school district is having problems, or do you like the direction that the school district is going? And if you like the way it's going, I hope that you would have me back on the school board.
When we had the other candidates here, there was 2 main questions that they were asked, so I'm going to ask Charlie the first one. The next board will hire a new superintendent. What qualifies you and a new superintendent? What do you find the most important potential for applicants, and how do you think you should conduct the search. And I know you're underway now with that, so.
Actually, not yet.
Aren't you really?
Honestly, I thought you were. Okay, two-parter. What the qualities we should be looking for are many of the things that we loved about Dr. Green. She was an amazing communicator. She was in the community. She was part of this community. And it might take a little bit of time, but we need somebody who is willing to be at schools, to give parents a hug, to give teachers a hug, that kind of personal touch, which you normally don't see in a superintendent, but I think that's kind of the legacy that Dr. Green left with us, and that's going to be an important quality. Obviously, Florida education law is fraught with peril, I believe, and one of the most important qualities of our new superintendent is going to have to be somebody with a deep knowledge and understanding of Florida education law and Florida school finance. There are many pitfalls that one can fall into, a board and a superintendent can fall into. So I really think that's going to be important, is that we have somebody who is familiar with Florida schools. And there are many Florida superintendents and assistant superintendents who are scattered around the country right now because they have been scooped up in other places. So how should the search be conducted? It's very simple. We do a nationwide search. We enlist the help of the Florida School Boards Association. They do this 3-4 times a year. And then we also enlist the help of a very large and diverse community group to interview candidates, to help us, the board, vet down who should be our 10 finalists, then finally our 3 finalists. So if you do have any interest in serving on that citizen committee, we have not formed it yet, but it's coming up soon. I think after the August elections, we'll finally when we have a better idea who's going to be on the board going forward, we'll probably get into the details of that. But again, if you want to be part of that committee, just email me, charliekennedy@yahoo.com. And I'll forward your name down to our agency clerk, and we'll make sure you're contacted to be on that committee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, question number 2. Following the Parkland shooting, school security is in front of every community's agenda. What do you think would be the best way our district could seek out a safer way for our children in the schools with the limited funding that's available?
Okay, a perfect example of how Florida education law and finance is fraught with peril. The Florida legislature at the last session created a program, and I would say underfunded it, but it's called the Coach Aaron Feist Guardian Program. And I think they called it the Guardian Program for a reason, because they knew they were not funding us at a level where we could hire SROs. We couldn't hire law enforcement officers. They kind of envisioned a position, which Manatee County Schools has now created, called a guardian. And this is a person who doesn't work a full year, so it's kind of a lower paid position, but they go through law enforcement training. They will be carrying a gun on campus. I won't go into that area. But so I'm confident that, and we're lucky in Manatee County because we created that position, we posted it, and I don't want to say all, but nearly all of the guardians we have hired are former military or former law enforcement. They have just retired here, or they are local retirees who have retired from local law enforcement. So we have a really strong group of guardians ready to hit the ground when the school year begins. But my fear is maybe some other counties don't have that base of retirees. So my wish would have been that the legislature would fully fund certified and sworn local law enforcement officers for our campus, but we are where we are. Now, there's a couple things that we as a board can do, and fortunately, the voters of Manatee County have invested in education twice in the past 3 years. We renewed the capital, the half penny for capital, and we approved the millage for operations. So that gives us some flexibility to do things like making sure every school campus has a fenced perimeter, and there are limited numbers of entrances and egress. And one of the more extreme ideas is like putting in metal detectors. I'm not really supportive of metal detectors because I want our schools to look like schools, not like prisons and institutional facilities. But we are lucky, and thank you to the voters of Manatee for supporting us so that we can have safe campuses.
Okay, you got a minute to wrap up and tell everybody why they should vote for you. But before I do that, remember August 28th, that's the day of the election. You can early vote. here in Manatee County. You can vote for all of the candidates of your choice. This is a county-wide election, even though they run in districts, which is kind of confusing sometimes to people. But all of us can vote for each one in every district that we're qualified to vote for. So good luck in yours, and let me turn it over and I'll give you a minute to get this thing wrapped up.
Thanks
here,
very
okay?
much. All right, I got 1 minute. Two minutes went by so quick, I don't know how I'm going to do one. But like I said, I'm really, I'm just kind of running on the things that I've done, and I just want to share 2 examples. In 2015, Dr. Green was about to walk out the door because Superintendent Mills was retiring, and the board was having a conversation about, well, let's go do a national search. And to keep a long story short, I basically said to the board, hey, everybody stop. We just did a long-term search, or a nationwide search 2 years ago, and Dr. Green finished second in that search. So why on earth would we let her get away? Because if I were her and the board said, well, we don't really want you, I'd be out of here too. So fortunately, by the next meeting, the board had come around and Dr. Green was our superintendent. There are some other, 15 seconds. I won't go into some of the smaller things, but in my service as board chair last year, we had some hot button issues, but we still got through them. And I've tried to be kind of a unifying influence on the board, even in disagreement, and I hope that we can get back to that. So thank you, everybody, again, for the opportunity to be here.
That minute went quick, didn't it?
It sure did.
I'm sure that Charlie will stick around a little bit after the meeting if you got some questions, and probably you got a bunch of them. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
good luck.
Swift. I appreciate it.
Isn't it great to be a Bradenton Kiwanian? Oh, come on. These are the movers and the shakers and the professional people in this community that have a better way of life and make Bradenton better. Now, isn't it great to be a Bradenton Kiwanian? Yeah! All right. Where'd you put your iPad? Right here? Thank you. This morning we have with us, or this afternoon we have with us, Ms. Lammers from the Manatee County Library System. She is the Assistant Director of the Library Services, correct? Okay. Ms. Lammers, if you would come forward, I feel very, very embarrassed, and I hope you just accept my apologies. Heather called me this morning to make sure that I had your bio. I printed it and put the wrong bio in my folder. So you're going to have to tell us about yourself, and I extremely, extremely apologize for being not prepared today. Okay? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey everyone. How are y'all? Good. I'm Glenda Lammers. I'm the what he said. Basically, what that means is that I am the second in command for the library system, if we call it a command. So anyway, I've been here in Manatee County since last June, so just over a year. I started here at the Rocky Bluff Library as a branch manager, and then subsequently went to the administrative area to work in that capacity. I have experience working in public libraries. I have experience working in a Navy library, which was very rewarding and very interesting. I've experienced working at a community college, and I have experience working with a nonprofit company that that provides libraries with services and products. So that's kind of my experience. I do have a master's in library and information science, so I've been doing this for about 21 years. And prior to that, I have an accounting degree, and so I've been an auditor as well, but I've never been an accountant. So way to go, y'all. Have you been to the library lately? Raise your hands, please. Okay, which library? Downtown? Excellent. So have you seen some of the things that we're doing there that are different than the traditional services that libraries that we're known for offering, like books that you can check out? So if you haven't seen what we have, please, I'd be happy to take you on a tour and provide you some information about what we have. I actually have show and tell, so you'll be able to see some of the things that we have. I was reading about your mission when I was preparing this, and I thought, well, you know what? We have a lot in common because this is what we do. We do the same thing that you do. I mean, we just try to offer kids opportunities that will help them make it in their lives and through whatever problems they may have. You've probably heard some statistics about children in, the third grade reading level and some of those kind of statistics. One of the things that I've found just interesting in the past few months is that kids don't have books. And I wasn't raised in a family where we didn't have books. But there are, I would say, at least half the population of Manatee County that doesn't have a book at their home. And I find that amazing and depressing at the same time. So we do literacy events. We do our best to educate kids. And we do it in a way that we think is fun and that they think is fun. And when you don't know you're learning, but you are and you're having fun, then that's really a good thing for these kids. Because people don't always want to come to an event that sounds like school or that sounds like education or even learning. So we have these events. We have, I forget what this was at one of the branches, one of the programs with Mad Science. And then we do a touch a truck. And how does a touch a truck help these kids? Well, everybody likes it. So what it does is gets them to the library. I think they had one of these in Rocky Bluff just last month or in May, and they had about 700 people there. So you get those people, you get them used to coming to the library. That's where these events take place, and maybe they'll want to come back. Maybe they probably went inside that day. They may have gotten a card, but they certainly saw the things that we do. The Reading with the Rays. We've done this for the past several years, my understanding. And in fact, this Friday, we have the Reading with the Rays finale. We usually have a kickoff with the Rays, but this year we're having one of the Rays, I don't know who it is, somebody's going to come in and they're going to read to the kids to celebrate the end of the summer reading program. But you can see a lot of people enjoy that. We have a place called Area 52 over at the Central Library. Has anybody ever seen it? I know you have. So anyway, it's a STEM area. If you're not familiar with, well, actually, it's a STEAM area. If you're not familiar with that acronym, it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Thank you. I can spell when I write, But anyway, yeah, it's a great place for, we've sort of developed it for teens just because they're a very, very hard demographic to get into the library. They're hard for a lot of reasons, but one is they're teens. I mean, let's just go where we're going with this. So we do have programs for them. We have this Minecraft coding where people learn to actually code. And then we have this recycled fashion show. Have you ever been to this? Please come next year. It's usually in March. These kids, these are teenagers, put together these amazing outfits with recycled material. And I went to my first one this year and I was just amazed with the talent. And we have robot bowls. So we have bot bowls. We have classes to build robots. We take these robots out sometimes to schools where we've been to one school in the area that doesn't have a STEM program and have provided our own services there to help them with their own programs. I believe it was a middle school. And so they build robots. So all of this is about learning. It's all about learning, but it doesn't feel like education. It feels fun. We do community outreach. We actually, one of our staff goes out to Mayaca and reads every week out there to the kids that can't get to the library. They also we do community outreach with several of the different nonprofits. This summer we did an outreach at Lincoln Park in Palmetto. It was it's a free lunch bus that came into that particular area, and we, the library staff, participated there with a story time and a craft that was associated with that, just to get a little bit of a learning in that process. So in the past year, or this is actually 2017, 4.25 million items were borrowed. And so items are books, items are e-books. We just added e-magazines just in the past week. We have audio tapes, we have, all kinds of different formats. We have large print, we have regular print, we have paperback, we have, the digital things, the magazines, the streaming movies, the, what else? Streaming movies, music, a variety of different things with some of our online databases that help the community. It's things they can't afford, things that they may want but don't know where to get it, and so part of what we do is provide those kinds of things with help from a lot of people that provide funding for us. We had 50,000 people attend programs last year. We do have programs for adults, and I wasn't going to really concentrate too much on that. But we do have programs like creative aging for the aging population. I know at the Island Branch they do a travel and lecture series. There's at the Rocky Bluff Branch they do a lunch, listen, and learn, where every week during season a performer will come and they can sit in the library and eat their lunch and listen to this. We also have the blues library, the blues in the library during the Blues Fest here in Manatee County. So we do try to reach the adults as well as the kids. And then this is a picture of the computers, and this is the way they almost always are at Central, but you can see that we had 400,000 computer sessions. So why do we have those computer sessions? Well, people don't have computers. People don't have Wi-Fi. People don't, I don't know if you've applied for a job recently, but you can't really apply with a paper application that much. So these people have no computers. They want to get a job. They want to see what's out there and what's available to them. So they have to rely on the library, and we're there to provide that. We do have these launch pods, and I actually brought a couple of them. They're preloaded tablets. And we like them. Well, 1, they're educational. 2, they're fun. And 3, they're not the iPhone that you might get to play when you are just sitting there not doing anything. So some of these will read out loud with you as you read, so it helps with that reading capacity. They're all available to check out, and it's really important that we offer this service. We just started it, and it's taken off very well. And then these also have, these are similar, they have the tablet, but they also have the books, the paper books with them, so they can listen and read the book at the same time. We've just started getting musical instruments. Yeah, I know that's probably not what most libraries do, but thanks to our generous library foundation, we've been able to get a lot of things. We call it the library of things. We have cake pans. People check them out. I don't know if you've ever made a cake, for somebody's birthday, and it's your kid, and that was the year that they were into Mickey Mouse. And then the next year they're into something different. And then the next year they're into something different. And you use the pan once. So people have kindly donated these pans to us, and I'm not kidding, they check out. It's amazing. We also have telescopes to check out. We also have binoculars to check out. We have, we just started with the musical instruments. We have ukuleles that have been checking out like crazy. And then we don't have in our collection just yet, but we just received bongos, which, by the way, if anybody knows how to play, I brought them. And, or if you don't, you can practice. So we have bongos. We're looking at accordions. We're looking at guitars. We're looking at things that do not require a reed or a mouthpiece. So everything is going to be in that percussion kind of area. I think we just even got accordions, and I know we got some tambourines. So, you know, next thing you know, we're going to have bands at the library. So you'll get your invitation. We also, besides the musical instruments and the cake pans, we have we call them learning kits, and in these kits are toys and games and all of these types of things that people can play. Like we might have one for 5th grade science, or you might have one for astronomy or something like that, and these kids can check them out. They can take them home. It has all these different parts and pieces with them and activities for them to do, and they can, like I said, they can check those out. So we have those available as well. We just got adaptive and assistive toys, and they're for kids that have maybe mobility issues or some kind of a learning disability. And as far as we could tell, that the only place they have these in the area is at Tampa at one of the hospitals, I believe. So these things can circulate. Parents can check them out, you know, work with their children on whatever cognitive skill they might need, or whatever kind of, like I said, mobility or motion skill that they need work with, and they can take these home and use them, because people just can't afford these things. We are also going to add a tool library. We haven't discussed whether or not there will be power tools involved with that. I kind of would like it, but maybe it's not a good idea, because, you know, sometimes you just need that flathead screwdriver or that wrench or something, and you don't buy it, but you just need it. So you can come check it out of the library. Oh, we also do have books. Did I mention that? We do. Just because, you know, I thought I should. So they can create music in this Area 52. They can create music. They can, use the robotics and the circuitry and all those kinds of things to create things. Part of it is, yes, the creation of that and the learning in that, but part of it is about teamwork, because a lot of these things are done with other people, and that's really, really important. And I showed you some more coding. We have a library. Well, we did work with a library reading room, but right now we're working with the Anna Gale STEM Center. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's in Palmetto. It opened last year with the help of Barbara Harvey, who, by the way, had a groundbreaking ceremony today for one of the new schools in North Manatee County. So that was pretty nice. But anyway, our team helps with this. Our foundation, thankfully, you know, gives us some funds. Every kid that comes into this center, it's an after-school center. They get books to take with them. They get the opportunity to do some activities, and it's very important. And this area is very needed. So this summer we had Libraries Rock, and that was the theme. And you can tell by everything that I've said that we do rock. Arduino Camp, I don't even know what that is, but I think it's some kind of coding, and I think it's some kind of a program. And if you know, just shake your head and say, yeah, you're about right. Or if you do really know, tell me what it is. So we did the Dive Into Reading program. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I think that, does United Way have a part in that? Yes, the United Way has a part in, they have a part in that, along with the libraries, along with John and Amanda Horn and their restaurants, and Suncoast grade level reading. there's a lot of people involved in it. Last year, we did it at one of their restaurants. This year, we did it at 5 restaurants. We did it at 3, Anna Maria Oyster Bars, one at the museum, the South Florida Museum, and at the other at Gecko's on Route 70, I think. Is that where? And I don't know, I think there were about 400 kids, about 250 mentors. They all read for 4 weeks because that's how long summer school, now this is a summer school class camp that they're in the school facility, or in some of the elementary schools are open for this this event. And then they come to this place once a week and they read with a mentor. And it was interesting, besides that, the whole process is very interesting. These kids, some of them, they're all from Title I schools. Some of them have never been to a restaurant. I mentored one of these children, because they always ate breakfast. These were in the mornings. And I mentored a child, and he told me that we had a buffet, and he had no idea what a buffet was. So, I explained to him how that worked. They don't know how to use napkins and silverware. It's truly amazing, and very sad. And he had said he read 18 books the week before. And I said, did you read them at school or at home? And he said, at school. I don't have any books at home. There you go. So we participate in that program. We also, I don't know if any of you went last year or the year before, they went to Spain. And we have a program person there at the library that plans mostly the adult programming. And this year, they're going to Barcelona and Madrid. And next year, I personally want to go to Denmark, so I don't know what we'll do, actually. So anyway, there are libraries. We have 6 of them. We are always excited to partner with organizations. We're excited to partner with schools, with anything that we can. And in fact, I believe we were there at the Christmas in August, is that what it's called? The Christmas in August, we were there. We try to do as much outreach as we can to let people know what we do, what we have, what's available, what do you want that we don't have, and that type of thing. So please feel free to drop by anytime that you want. Ask for me, and I would be happy to show you what we have. And at this time, do you have any questions?
Give her a round of applause. Any questions?
Yes, we are an award-winning library system, and this is actually one of the reasons I wanted to work here. This library system has won several awards, but probably the most significant was Library of the Year in the state of Florida. So that was in 2016. And then in 2017, our current library services manager, Ava Eady, won Librarian of the Year. And this past year, in 2018, we won 2 awards. One was Libraries Mean Business, and that was basically for all the business work that we do. We hold job fairs, we have resume writing classes, we have SCORE come in and do presentations, so we have a lot of things there. And then the other award we got was the Innovation Award. And the Innovation Award this past year was we have a literary journal that we were the first in the United States to start, where people could actually send their writing, and then it subsequently became a literary and art journal. They can send their work to us, and we'll publish it free. Not everything, but it goes through a process, and then they get that recognition, and when they get that recognition, then they can go other places with that. So those are the awards that we've won just recently.
One more question, anyone else? All right.
All right, thank you.
Hold on one second. Let me see if I have, usually we have a Kiwanis. At this time, I would like to award you with the Kiwanis Golden Rule. It is to help gauge your future success and also the future success of our library system. Thank you so much for coming. Amazingly informational. I did not know the library does all the things that it does. So it sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's program. Thank you all to our guests, including Jeff Gerhard. Jeff, I just totally forgot to announce you, so I'll announce you on the back end. So thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you next week. I believe next week is our superintendent that will be here to give us a school board update. So as a suggestion, normally that program is pretty highly attended, so please get here early. We want to make sure you get the seat that you want and that you have a chance to have lunch and have fellowship. Thank you so much. We are adjourned.